having your old pal Uncle Zoom back on the channel. Great, great, great. Thank you for coming to your senses and getting back to life and making your fans happy. Yo, you're making a return from the dead, like Zoom, back for one last motherfucking run.
Coming in last place is going to be Season 7. The season started off fine, with a decent first episode. The second episode was actually really good, and then the third episode happened. And it makes me mad because I don't think this episode gets as much hate as it deserves, because there are lower rated episodes, but personally for me, I think this should be the lowest rated episode because I just absolutely despise this episode. Just the way they treated Hartley Sawyer, I mean, that is just so unfair. The whole firing of him is just stupid. He made those tweets 10 years ago, he was sorry for it, and I mean, I guess what, if you really want to fire him, fine, but when your show focuses on giving people second chances, people that murder people, giving them second chances, not even letting them go to prison, just literally letting them walk away. What is this season? This season is horrible. The whole Mirror Monarch thing, she was fine in season 6 until episode 19 when we had that weird comic book thing. I don't even know what that even was. But into season 7, she was just okay. And I like how she just got to walk away at the end of the season and didn't have to face any consequences for her actions. She caused a bunch of trauma, a bunch of property damage, but nope, she can just walk away. The rest of the episodes were just, I mean, they were forgettable, they were annoying, they were the same exact thing. The Force arc, like, what even was that? And let's see, am I forgetting anything from the season? Oh yeah, Godspeed. He was, yeah, he was that. And then, like I just mentioned, we get that team up with Reverse Flash, and then he just gets to run away at the end of the season. Just like Mirror Monarch at the beginning of the season. Yeah, this season, it belongs in the trash. Next up, we have Season 8, and it's a little better than Season 7, but not by a lot. Some people think the season was good. I did not think it was that good at all. I found it to be very forgettable and just very plain, not really offering anything new to the table. It was way too overcomplicated, and not in a good way, not like in a Christopher Nolan way. Just like the writers just put a bunch of stuff out, and they just made all these weird plot device things. I'm not saying the show has always been grounded in reality. Like in Season 1, Episode 3, we had a guy that could turn himself into poison gas. But the difference is, there were rules. We, the audience, knew the weaknesses of that character and the strengths of that character. If he's in this mist form for too long, he grows weak. With this, I don't even know how to explain it. The writers just make this so overcomplicated, so if they write themselves into a hole, they can just say, oh, well, this person can do this because reasons. The season started off pretty good. I will admit the crossover was pretty enjoyable. The first 4 episodes I thought were good, but then big surprise, episode 5 was not good. Why was it not good, you may wonder? Because of this.
What the hell is wrong with you two? Since when do we let people die? I will hunt you down. I will find you and I will kill you.
But yeah, big surprise, they don't let Reverse Flash die, and then he goes to prison, and then even a bigger surprise, he escapes from prison. I bet no one saw that coming. You remember when the show used to have like a good mystery, like with Thawne on season 1 and Zoom in season 2? Yeah, so overall the season's pretty forgettable, and I definitely will not be tuning into it anytime soon. This was always the most hated season for me. I always hoped the show would never get lower than this. But sadly, it did, and kind of makes the season look good, which is pretty sad. My biggest flaws are most of the episodes are just kind of mediocre, and they don't really take themselves too seriously. Iris being leader of Team Flash is just kind of really dumb. I mean, like, how is she paying for any of her bills? Like, she should be out reporting, but she's in Star Labs literally the entire season. Like, I never see her outside of Star Labs this season. But the things that make the season look good are the drama feels real. Like, it feels like actual drama. The music is good, the acting is really good, the actors are putting in effort in their roles. And also, we have a really, really good villain with the Thinker. Some people don't like him. I really like him, and also some people don't really like how he like body swapped in the season. I didn't really mind that at all. And speaking of body swapping with the whole like bus metas, I thought the bus metas also were kind of a cool storyline. I like how all of them were incorporated into the Thinker's plan. But to dive back into the negatives, the finale for me was pretty disappointing, and the way the Thinker went out was just embarrassing. I mean, really, like this is the way the Thinker goes out. So yeah, looking back, it's not as bad as I remember it being, but it still could be a lot better. Season 9. Okay. You know, I really wanted to like the season, but let's just go back to the beginning. So episode 1 was just an okay episode. It's kind of forgettable, not really that memorable. The Red Death was interesting at first. I like how they kept her in the shadows, but once she finally came out of the shadows, I mean, the suit looks fine. The actress did an okay job sometimes. The only scene I really found her to be kind of like intimidating was when she was talking to Iris in the apartment, until they ruined it. Her big supervillain plan was pretty dumb and not really well thought out. And honestly, the biggest surprise from this arc for me, like the most jaw-dropping thing, was the return of Rainbow Rider. I'm probably the only person that would even say that. Then we go into the filler episodes. There are way too many filler episodes than this season needs, but the season did start to pick up itself a little bit with the episode where Oliver returned. I'm not really a big fan of the Arrow. I was never really a fan of the show. I never even watched it, so him coming back wasn't like a huge like jaw-dropping thing for me. But it was cool to see blood work, and it was just cool to have like a Flash-oriented episode where it's not completely focused on the side characters, so it was just kind of refreshing to see. And then we got that full circle episode, which I will argue, I really don't think it's full circle, because in the original timeline they were fighting and they came out of a portal. With this, they were here all day. And the episode itself, it was a good episode, but it was also kind of, it was a little cheesy. But this scream by Matt Letcher, it's probably one of my favorite no screams of all time. Let's just listen to it for a second. Man, I wish they would have used Matt Letcher more in the show. And then we entered the New World storyline with Eddie, and this was an interesting storyline. The first 3 parts were fine, but the build-up was to the 4th part, because my favorite character of all time was returning. And how was he portrayed in the episode? Yeah, just how I thought it would be. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be as good as season 2, but it was still so amazing to see this. And even if it was done really bad, it was still really cool to see. But the last 5 episodes of this season are what really saved this season, and it's why it's higher than season 4. Season 5 I feel like is a pretty hated season. I don't think it's that bad. I thought the storyline was pretty intriguing. Cicada I thought was fine, even though he did escape way too many times. I thought he was an okay villain. Cicada 2 was a little... She had a good introduction, but the rest of the scenes with her were just kind of pretty bad. The whole Reverse Flash storyline I thought was kind of interesting, even though I would have preferred Matt Letcher. And Nora could be a little bit annoying at times, but I thought the casting for her was great, and the suit really needs improvement. The first half of season 6 was really good. I thought the show was getting back on track because the episodes were amazing. Bloodworker's a very cool villain. I thought the actor portrayed him perfectly. Episode 7 was a breathtaking episode. The acting by Grant Gustin was absolutely amazing. Crisis on Infinite Earths, I thought the build-up was really good. The execution was fine. It definitely had its highlights, but overall I thought it kind of fell flat. The rest of the season was just okay. Like I said earlier in the video, Mirror Monarch was fine. I really like her soundtrack, but the character herself was just, kind of forgettable. But episode 17 was definitely the highlight of the back half of the season. Season 3 I feel like is definitely the most darkest season of any of the other seasons. Savitar wasn't as good as Reverse Flash or Zoom. I still thought he was an intriguing villain, and the mystery is pretty good. But the thing that really makes me mad about not just this season, but the whole series, is how they mistreated Black Flash. This whole season, I was waiting for him to show up, and he did, I'll give them that, but for literally, his entire screen time is literally 60 seconds out of a 16-hour long season. But seriously, look at this, 8 million views, 9 million views, 15 million views. Clearly people want to see Black Flash, so I don't know why the writers never put him in this series. put him in more. He was in Legend of Tomorrow and he was handled way better there, but this is The Flash. We should see him on The Flash. But that aside, this season, I didn't really like at first when it first came out, but over time it has grown on me a little bit. Flash Season 2 is another great piece of television. It has stakes, heart, comedy, tension, and just overall a good story. Zoom is my favorite character on the show, and he's one of my favorite villains of all time. The writers did an amazing job crafting a beautiful story that kept me intrigued and gave me something to look forward to every Tuesday night. I love this season. I've rewatched it a bunch of times. But coming in spot 1 is gonna have to be season 1. Honestly, I like season 1 and season 2 pretty much the same, but I just like season 1 a tiny bit more, mostly because I'm a huge fan of like all the metas and the metas of the week type stuff. I like that storyline of all of them in the pipeline and them getting loose. I don't know why I like that so much. I just like a lot of the actors that played those characters, and I thought they all had interesting powers. So it was really cool to see all that. Not to mention, this is definitely my favorite storyline out of any of the other seasons. Tom Cavanaugh nailed his role being the antagonist, and Grant Gustin, for me, is the Flash. And I just want to give a shout out to him and all the other actors for just bringing these characters to life and creating a world for me to just get lost in. I know I've been a little negative in this video, but even the seasons I hate deep down, I still somewhat enjoy watching these episodes. I might not like them, but I still enjoy it. Does that make sense? Not really. And even if season 9 wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, I will admit I still got goosebumps seeing that final shot of Barry running. Thanks for watching, and let me know your ranking in the comments below. Goodbye.
Believe in it.